15 travel essentials for Southeast Asia. This is in timeline order of priority.
I'm in, like I don't know where I am actually.
Number 1, vaccinations. You need to allow time to give yourself full coverage. Some of them take a month or two to make sure that you're covered for whatever your doctor recommends in the way of vaccinations. Number 2 is your passport. It needs to have 6 months validity, but also it needs to be in a pristine condition. They have been pulling up people lately with little dog's ears and something a bit dodgy about their passport, and they've been putting them on the plane and sending them back home. So pop it in a Ziploc bag and do whatever it is that you feel that you can do to look after this little puppy, because it's important. Number 3 is a ticket. You need to have a copy of flight details because you might lose your phone or you might forget your ticket. Number 4 is going to be travel insurance. You're going to need evacuation insurance in the case of emergency. Even worse, if you break your neck and die, your family needs to bring your body back home, and that could cost anything up to about 80,000 Australian dollars. Pretty heavy. Make sure that you're covered for specifics like motorbike and jet skis. There are quite a few small print things. With a motorbike, for instance, even if you've got a full motorbike license, you can only ride a bike up to 125cc in Bali. 5 is a credit card. Have a second credit card on the same account, but probably more importantly, have 2 accounts and 2 credit cards. Then you can leave 1 card in the room and 1 card with you when you go out, and make sure that you have the emergency phone number for lost cards so that you can quickly call from anywhere in the world back to your bank and they can cut off any further withdrawals. It's a good idea to take a little bit of money just for incidentals. I usually just lob and go to the ATM, and that's fine and everything. And in Thailand, for instance, a decent ATM is a really long walk, and if you've been on a long flight and you're a bit worn out, then it's just easy to take a little bit of cash with you. You can get it from your local bank or a branch nearby. Your motorbike car license from home, it is best to be covered by an international driver's permit, which is available from the AAA. I've never really understood it. It's just a kind of a thing with your passport photo. It just copies of the information on your license, so I don't really understand the point of it, but apparently you need one of those. Medications, if you're on blood pressure medications or heart medications, it's really, really important to take your own. You can get into all sorts of trouble with overseas medications. I'm not saying this one or that one specifically. There's a friend of a friend in Thailand, and he had an infection in his foot and his toe. I've seen it. And he was taking what he thought was antibiotics, and they turned out to be, just like horse manure or something. Shouldn't laugh, because he lost his big toe completely. Thinking that he was taking antibiotics. His doctor in Thailand said he's never seen anything like it. He couldn't believe the packaging was just perfect, and there was no reason for him not to think that he wasn't taking an antibiotic. Also, just like a really quick one on medications for asthmatics, this is Bricanol, and it's absolutely useless in humid climates. You can't buy it there because it's a powder, so it just clogs and it doesn't come out. So you're going to need to use Ventolin. And the other thing I was going to mention is that if you're carrying something like this is Valium. You need to have a list from your doctor of what you're carrying. Even a better idea is to also take the bottle with your name on it. I've taken my name off this one, but if it's a box, I usually just cut out where it has my name and the medication name and the doctor's name to prove that yes, I have this and it is mine and my doctor gave it to me. Because this is one of those prescription drugs that people can sell as a recreational drug. It's a great idea to take your prescription glasses prescription. It's just a bunch of numbers like plus 50 and minus 150 or whatever. And it's really, really easy in Southeast Asia to get a script filled for glasses, but to actually get a script made, it can be tricky to get that done properly, as you probably know in your country anyway. Like it's not a simple process, so rather than trying to source that, track that down, how to get that done, just take your script with you, the numbers, and it'll be really, really simple. The next one's tricky, and it's for carry-on baggage for liquids, aerosols, and gels. With their lids, they need to be in 100 milliliter containers, and then after that, they need to be put into one litre container per person. Now that's 100 millilitres, and so that's sort of one gone, and then this is actually a bit over, that's a 125, but you're getting the idea. This is starting to get full already. You are not allowed to expand this and sort of just keep pumping stuff in there just because you can squish it in. It has to fit easily. This one has a zipper on it and it seals up, which that actually also needs to be the case. You can probably use a Ziploc bag if it'll hold a litre. This one's from Osprey. Fantastic stuff, so I just happen to like this, but I've been stopped a couple of times. And they've said, have you got any liquids or aerosols or anything? I'm like, yes, but they're all 100 milliliters. Come on, give us a look. And then you would need to take all of the things out of your bag separately. But if you've got them all in here and it's a see-through thing, then they can just glance at it and go, oh, yeah mate, you're fine, see you later. Mosquito spray. This one is Bushman's from Australia, and it's Bushman's Plus with DEET. And DEET is what you will need to ward off the dengue carrying mosquito. Fun fact, the dengue carrying mozzie is the female Aedes aegypti, don't quote me on the pronunciation, and is a day biting mosquito most active for approximately 2 hours after sunrise and several hours before sunset. The mosquito rests indoors in closets and other dark places. So what, you get like a couple of hours of daylight where you're not going to get bitten potentially by a mozzie that's carrying dengue fever. And also, of course, Japanese encephalitis, same thing, carried by mozzies. So really important to take some of this stuff with DEET because it's going to be very, very hard to find that kind of a product. And this is 100 millilitres. It's a pump spray. This one, you can get it from Coles, Woolworths. And it lasted me, I think I took 2, but I'm pretty sure just the one lasted me like 3 months. Absolute must-have. Sunscreen you need to take to Southeast Asia for just one reason, and that's because it's expensive over there. This is 125 millilitres, so you cannot take that. Don't take that one because it's too big. It has to be 100 millilitres. That will be taken by immigration. Feminine hygiene products, tampons, you will need to take those because they're really, really hard to find. There's a whole nother story about that. Take your own feminine hygiene products. We talked about a list of medications. Something like this would be perfect. You could also have a list of your vaccinations. It's got typhoid and hepatitis, tetanus, Hep A, etc. And your doctor will be able to give you something like that. And the same thing should apply with all of your medications, because when you run out and you need them, or you're taken to hospital in an emergency, they're going to need what sort of things have been going around in your body to diagnose what they can then do from there. But also, along exactly the same lines, have multiple copies of your passport, driver's license, flight details and insurance details, hotel bookings, confirmations, room details, because you might get to a hotel and you've lost all of the confirmation and then you forgot that you'd upgraded to a superior room and paid extra, and then there's some confusion and you end up with a budget room or whatever. And important phone numbers for abroad and home in the worst case scenario, an emergency, or just somebody gets sick and you want to let somebody else know. You lose your phone, it's stolen, or you drop it, or you leave it, or even if you just leave it at the hospital. If you've got that, in the hotel room, in the safe or wherever, at least you can contact people in perhaps the panic that you're already going to be in. But the passport and the driver's license, I just usually turn up with a passport and driver's license on a piece of paper when the police stop me, and I just hand them that. Number 15 is going to be a power plug adapter. These are the types of things. I can't find any difference between the ones in the $2 store and the expensive ones from travel stores. Another really good idea is to take a power board of some sort. This is kind of huge, but you'll be surprised that you'll only end up with maybe 1 or 2 points to access power for charging your phone, your tablet, your laptop, your camera, whatever it might be. So I carry 2 of these because one's way over there and you haven't got your extension lead, and then the other one you can use the power board with. If you really want to go crazy, you can take a surge arrestor. I don't. I just happen to have that one, but it's a little bit of overkill. But the power in Asia, Southeast Asia, is really up and down, and they do have blackouts. And you could potentially damage your electronic equipment, but I don't know. I've never done that. Oh, look, you can just take a double adapter if you don't think you're going to need a lot of plugs. You can get some nice little flat ones now from Coles and Woolworths. The last thing is this. This is all as part of number 15. It's just like stuff that's not so important, but just kind of cool ideas. This is a microfiber travel towel. You can pretty much scrunch it down into your hand. Once you undo it, this is the size of a normal towel. The reason that they're really good is because they dry really quickly. You'll need to sort of pat your body down. You can't really wipe with them. They don't really work that way. But the other thing is that in hotels in Southeast Asia, you are going to find some really funky towels with stains and stuff, and that's up to like at least the 4-star level, I can guarantee. I took it last time. I got it for another reason, but I just thought I'll take it, and I didn't really want it because I only take carry-on, and I thought, you know, how much use am I going to get out of it? And the answer was like every single day. Like even just for sweat, you know, like just sort of pop down the shops and chuck it around your neck and like, you know, like whatever. Not exactly a fashion statement, but just a great idea. So hopefully all of that has been helpful for you for your travels. That was the 15 travel essentials for Southeast Asia. See you next time, and thanks very much for watching.
I'm in, like I don't know where I am actually.